We've had some pretty unusual collections in our Collector's Corner, but today something we didn't know that people collected. I didn't anyway. Vacuum cleaners.
And not only does Jeff Parker collect vacuum cleaners, he has a favorite brand. Also, there are lots of other people who share his passion. Every year they also meet for a convention. We had no idea, Jeff.
No.
No idea, right?
Yep.
And when you first found out that there were other people who shared this passion, were you surprised?
I was surprised and I was thrilled. It was fun to have someone to sit down and talk with who understood what you were coming from. And most of the other collectors I've talked to have had the same experience.
Because most people will say, this is strange.
Yes.
Okay, make us understand. How
Where
did you get started?
from?
How did you get started?
I can't explain it. My earliest memory is involved with a vacuum cleaner. In fact, it's the one that's behind Linda.
Okay, this one?
That's the vacuum cleaner my mother had when I was growing up. And I can remember as a 2- or 3-year-old holding the handle like this, trying to push it across the rug.
So do you have a cleaning thing about cleaning? No.
Not as much. It's just vacuums.
Okay.
I wish my house were cleaner.
Okay, all right, let's start. The oldest one is over here.
The oldest one is over here. This is a 1929 Hoover upright. And it matches with this right here. This is a Hoover Duster. This was Hoover's first stab at a canister vacuum.
Oh, the concept then was just so new, right?
Electrolux had come to this country already, and Hoover, they were taking a bite out of Hoover, so they thought if they took an upright motor, mounted it on the side with a little bag, that you could dust
and then you carried it in one hand.
Yeah, you carried it in one hand and dusted your furniture and your drapes.
It probably wasn't a good idea right then.
It wasn't very powerful, and it wasn't very popular.
Okay, hold on, Jeff. I still don't understand. Okay, so let's back up here. You started with this vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
And then what?
When I got to
be... I want to collect these? How did this come about?
When I got to be 10 or 11, my aunt gave me a vacuum when I was 11, and it was burned out. And I pulled another one from the trash that the motor were interchangeable, and my father and I went out in the garage and made that vacuum cleaner run. And a year or so later, I found another one, an upright, and I had a match set, and it's like, okay, I've got a vacuum collection, and since then I've been pulling them from the trash, buying them from thrift stores.
Okay, what's the one you're most excited about?
Oh, geez, I would have to be the gold one right here.
Right.
That is the 50th anniversary Golden Hoover.
Ooh.
And it was issued to celebrate the company's 50th anniversary. They made 20,000 of them, and they didn't sell them. They gave them away as prizes. And to find them today... Yeah, I found that in a vacuum cleaner store. Yeah, it's very special.
Where?
His eyes light up.
I know, I love that.
I found it in a vacuum cleaner store down in the south suburbs, actually. And the man had no idea what it was. And if I had known...
the value of this, right?
The value of it, right.
Which is what?
There was one that sold on eBay a few months ago for about $300.
Really?
One of these sold on eBay a couple years ago for about $700.
But you couldn't part with any of these?
Not for any amount of money.
No, you love
You know what I'm noticing as I'm looking at these? I mean, you can kind of get an idea. I'm going to move aside here. As to what era we're talking about here. Look at this avocado.
Those 70s vacuums.
Right.
That's Eureka and Singer, and not too many people would remember that Singer even made vacuum cleaners.
Should I move so they can see these?
They can see all of those right there.
And then these two, the blue one here and the tan one. The blue one is from England, and the tan one is from Australia.
Did you go to England to get this?
I wish. No. I have a collector friend in England who sent that to me as a gift, and then the Australian one, I have a friend in Sydney also who arranged for me to get that.
Okay, what era? Here.
Right, this is 1964. This is the Hoover Constellation, and its big gimmick was that it floated.
Oh.
And there were no wheels on it. All you had to do was switch it on and tug it by the hose, and it followed you across the floor.
Okay, that's fun.
Yes, I like that idea.
Yes.
Okay, I have to know, where do you keep all of them? You have a little museum? It's taken over your house?
It's not taken over my house. I have a tri-level house, and the family room is the lower level or whatever, and all of these live down there.
And they all work?
Every one of them works. Everyone's been restored.
And sometimes when you can't sleep, you go down there and you run vacuum cleaners?
I go down there and work on vacuum cleaners.
Okay, and what do people say to you when you tell them that you collect vacuum cleaners? Come on, give us an honest reaction.
I get some strange looks. Some people will look at them and say, oh, my mother had this model, or I remember this model, or whatever. And I just, if they want to laugh at it, it's like, well, okay,
Well, you're a good sport. That's great. It's fun.
It's my hobby.
And you found something you love.
Yes, I enjoy it very much.
Okay, thanks so much for bringing him in.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, if Jeff has inspired you to start your own vacuum cleaner collection, or you want to learn how to do that and learn more about it, you can go to our website. That is at abc7chicago.com to get more information about it. Jeff, thanks a lot.
We should have all the vacuum cleaner people here at one time. Fill the building. I bet.
There's hundreds.
Thanks. Coming up after a final timeout, Mr. Food says don't get rid of those extra jars of baby food. You can't put them to good use. We'll be right back.